Well, let's begin what's trending. The presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party in the just concluded elections, Atiku Abubakar, has responded to a preliminary objection opposing the petition he filed, challenging Bola Ahmed Tinubu as winner of the presidential election. Tinubu, in the preliminary objection, described the former vice president as a serial loser who has been consistently contesting and losing successive presidential elections in Nigeria since 1993. Atiku, in response, admitted that he has been contesting presidential elections since 1993, but has a drug-free record and has never had controversies surrounding his age, state of origin, gender, educational qualification, health status, working career, and citizenship, all issues bordering on the constitutional qualification to contest for the office of the President of Nigeria. Atiku further accused Tinubu of committing perjury by not disclosing to INEC his voluntary acquisition of the citizenship of the Republic of Guinea, in addition to his Nigerian citizenship. Atiku then gave notice to Tinubu in his petition to produce the original copies of his said two passports. Dr. Bate, I want to come to you on this story because I believe that you and Rufai interviewed Nigeria's former Attorney General of the Federation, Aundaka, and he did mention that the issue of dual citizenship may not even come to the limelight because, as he knows, the petitions did not include the dual citizenship case. But now Atiku has responded to Tinubu's objection and has added that issue of citizenship. I'd like for you to just quickly respond to that.
Mr. Andoaka ACN, who made the point very clear. One, it was not originally part of the petition. Okay, if they raise the issue, the court will look at it. But as I've said, it's of no issue. It's of no moment. Sections 25 to 29 under Chapter 3 of the 1999 Constitution provides the details as to citizenship. And to the extent that the Nigerian Constitution further recognizes dual citizenship, then of course it will be difficult to prove that Bola Ahmed Tinubu is not a Nigerian. The issue here is that if you are born in Nigeria, or if either of your two parents is born in Nigeria, then of course you can be president of Nigeria. The only condition whereby you cannot be president is if you acquired your citizenship by naturalization. Or maybe if you had renounced your original citizenship. So I don't see how anybody will push the case that Bola Ahmed Tinubu, is a naturalized citizen of Nigeria seeking to be president, and, or push that he was not born here, or either his parents was not born here, or that he has renounced his citizenship. Well, so that is the big issue there.
My main question for you, since you are a lawyer, I think the bone of contention is the idea of the perjury and the fact that, now that Atiku has brought it into his petition, I just want to know, to just give me an idea if that would even be looked at.
Yeah, on perjury, I've also said, look, perjury is not something you pronounce into existence. It's only a court of law that can determine that. And perjury can be oral, it can be written, but you have to go to a court of law to go and prove it. And, I think under Section 117, it even says that you have to the court has to issue an arrest warrant for that person who has perjured. And with regard to Bola Ahmed Tinubu, this same issue of perjury was brought up when he became governor of Lagos State in 1999. Okay, and that case, I think, was led by the inimitable Gani Faweime. And he went to court, and the court ruled that that matter was already overtaken by events because at that time, Bola Tinubu had become governor. Under Section 308 of the 1999 Constitution, he is entitled to immunity. Sometime last year, some lawyers also went to Federal High Court, Abuja, talking about this same perjury. But that case, has not been determined up to now. The same president-elect has moved into Defense House. He's already preparing to be inaugurated on May 29. Once he is inaugurated on that May 29, you cannot bring the issue of perjury against him in his, in his capacity as president of Nigeria. Right. But of course, if you file a petition, you will expect also that there will be responses. And what the APC has done is to respond to the petitions. But the court will only look at the substance, of what your petition is, and then reach a decision on that. So for that, we will have to go back to the details in the petitions, in the notices of preliminary objection, and in the cross petitions that are before the court. The court is not going to waste its time or go on a voyage of discovery like Father Christmas over matters that are not concretely before it.
Well, all right. In the meantime, the Labour Party and its presidential candidate, Peter Obi, have accused the Independent National Electoral Commission of showing bias in favor of the president-elect, Bola Ahmed Tinubu. INEC, through its lawyers, in a preliminary objection, had said that the relief sought by Peter Obi and his party challenging Tinubu's election victory are not grantable, and prayed the court to either dismiss or strike out the petition for being grossly incompetent, abusive, vague, nebulous, and more. While Peter Obi and his party, in a response to the petition filed on April 21st, faulted the electoral umpire for filing the preliminary objection and reprimanded the commission for not maintaining neutrality in the matter, further describing their action as an embarrassment. Well, the petitions are coming as the president-elect Bola Ahmed Tinubu and Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima moved into the Defense House in Abuja, the Federal Capital Territory, on Wednesday, ahead of their inauguration in May. The Defense House is located in the Maitama district of Abuja. It will serve as a residence until Tinubu and Shettima take the oath of office on May 29th, after which they will move to the Aso Rock Villa. Tinubu is expected to receive briefings and hold key meetings at the residence. Both men were accompanied to the Defense House by Senate President Ahmad Lawan, the Speaker of the House of Representatives, Femi Gbajabiamila, among others. Rufai, over to you.
So a couple of things are making the rounds. That's just a reflection of what is happening. Things are already going full throttle. It's moving into Defense House since he came back, getting ready for inauguration and all of that. All of that process is going. But there's also been a lot of, discordant tunes as regards even the case going on and all of that in court. And Peter Obi did say, INEC didn't show neutrality. But the truth has to be told. INEC needs to defend itself, in all of this, because INEC's role is to be able to defend the result it produced. But that will not take away from the conversation of the conduct of the election. But most of these things will be determined by the court. Did INEC break its own laws? That's the very first question we should ask. Did INEC said he was going to transmit and he didn't do the same? Because in all of this petition I've seen, the only counter action, one of the counter actions I've seen was a newspaper clipping that was said that 2 days to the election, INEC said he was not going to transmit electronically. But does that newspaper clipping negate the hitherto announcement and even the Chatham House conversation that INEC said he was going to transmit electronically? It is the court that will decide all of that. So what INEC is doing here, yes, what INEC might have said, might be very vexatious on the part of Peter Obi, but INEC's role here is to be able to defend its own self in this election. And it has put out an arsenal. It said it's going to spend over 3 billion thereabout to defend itself across Tribunal all over the country. But another bone of contention, I think also with this subject of interpretation will be as regards what the Supreme Court will rule about it. The case of perjury and all of that. Anyway, that has not been added to the case. But hey, people can stretch it a little further. A lot of people have even put forth some rebuttals that even in the case of Gani Fawehinmi, that there was a hiding under the fact that he was already governor. And that's the fact that there was immunity for him, that has not been pressed further. Some people are also even talking about Section 137, subsection A, about, citizenship and all of that. But most of that has been cleared as regards cases that, the position of the law as regards. And I think we had that robust argument when we were even talking about the case of Omo Agege, when somebody was coming here to say Omo Agege held American citizenship and all of that. And we had to tell him that what the law's position is the fact on that is the fact that once you can have your Nigerian passport first, if you acquire any other passport, because the Constitution of Nigeria gives room for dual nationality, then you can still run for elective position in the office. I think the normative clause there is that section 28, when you even read section 137, that's what it keeps coming back to. But most importantly, I think the substance of the matter will be the procedure in court. Did INEC say the things he was going to do? And also other calculation discrepancy that has been pointed out. And like it's been enunciated even with the case of Obiakpo, that Premium Tide did an exclusive report to discover that the result that INEC said was not the result on the IRF portal in Obiakpo. But also, the court will be able to decide all of that. Well,